Now, crystals, interestingly enough, I'm going to talk a few myths about crystals. You have to activate crystals. There are many crystals that are sleeping. They're in a dormant state. You will go to the crystal store and some crystals will speak to you. You'll say, I want this crystal. There'll be many similar crystals in a bowl or in the display case, but you can feel the one that is speaking to you. You may not feel the others, and the only reason you don't feel the others is because they haven't, quote unquote, awakened. They haven't been activated. Crystals are oscillators. Now, those of you who understand electrical engineering, you'll have to look up what an oscillator is, or an amplifier. They work on these principles. They're capable of repeating and amplifying frequencies. They're all connected deep to the crystal grid of the earth, all the crystals in the ground. Crystals can communicate with each other. You ever notice that in science fiction movies, they always talk about how the ship is powered by a crystal? They don't really talk too much about fuel or burning fuel. So there's something to that. And as we go on in our evolution, it will be revealed more and more how crystals can amplify energy and also actually provide energy. And psychics, shamans, we've known this for a long time. We've been studying it. So we have to speak about it, and we'll see. Time will tell. Now, crystals. Certain crystals are good for different parts of your well-being emotionally. We say that rose quartz helps you with love. We say that black stones like obsidian or tourmaline absorb negative energy. We will talk about how quartz clears other crystals. We have selenite, that's a very powerful crystal that can cleanse other crystals. Labradorite being the psychic's stone. Moonstone, of course, having various shades in it that have to do with calming and amplifying your psychic energy as well. You can just buy a crystal book and look up what crystals are good for. How I'd like to answer this question is about how crystals work and why they don't work for some people. Because you can have a friend that just says, it's a pretty rock, I don't feel anything. Of course, because they haven't allowed themselves to feel what's there. They don't believe in it to begin with. They think that if they hold a crystal, suddenly something should buzz in their hands. That's not how it works. We're speaking of the higher frequencies. They emit and transmit higher frequencies that are subtle frequencies. How do you take something that feels subtle and make it powerful? You have to be more sensitive. If you're sensitive to someone touching your shoulder this way very lightly, or if you're kind of just tough and have all your guards up, you're not going to feel this very much. It's like you're wearing a suit of armor. You have to take off your suit of armor, so to speak, and become very raw, very vulnerable in order to feel this crystal. You have to get in touch with your feelings and develop a relationship with this crystal. That is how it works. That is why some people just use it for decoration and doesn't really do anything for them, very little. I think that at the very least, it kind of balances the energies in a home, because the intention is there. You think it's beautiful, well, that's a good energy. If you find beauty in it, you're then spreading positive energy. Some people just like to have quartz or amethyst in their home because they like the colors. Well, that's good. That is a connection. Liking something is a connection to it. Then there are people who go deeper with it. So there's ways to grid a room, which I'll go over at some point in the video, but let's just talk about the way that crystals can work for you, and the way then after use, how do you clean it? How do you clean a crystal? Some people say wash them in water, or don't wash them in water, or put them in the moonlight to charge them up. You don't need to charge up crystals. They're completely connected to everything in the universe. They're already charged, but there is a way to clean them. Now, the way you clean them, the way that I clean them, is with sound. I'll walk up to a crystal, get close to it, and I'll make that sound with my hands. That vibration is like shaking out a blanket, you might say. Just do it near the crystal. This is what takes the energy off of it, because we're speaking about frequency. It's not that there's particles on the crystal. Once in a while, you might see that there's particles on the crystal because it did a deep cleaning. You can just brush those off. But again, sound is what clears the energy off of a crystal. Of course, it's beautiful to put your crystals in the moonlight. Nothing wrong with that. And there is moonlight energy. If that's your belief system and you've activated, fine, that works for you. I'm just sharing with you as a channel, as a medium, this is how I understand crystals. You don't need to go through so much of having to wash them. Rituals are beautiful if you're connected to ritual and you find it to bring a whole sense of joy. Then of course, by all means do it. The crystals though, if you really want to understand the metaphysical science of this, when you understand that they're amplifiers and you understand that they're oscillators and you study these principles, then you will understand how to properly work with crystals and how to activate them, meaning awaken them, how to connect with them, and then how to cleanse them. These are 3 simple principles I've told you about. And when you take the time to slow down, when you're studying metaphysics, when you're studying psychic energy, when you're wanting to include all of these things in your life as a more holistic way of living, to bring nature itself closer to you, then you will spend the time to study more deeply and powerfully. And this is going to also help you open your third eye, not just the crystal, but your intention of opening up is what opens the third eye. You're surrendered to more knowledge. And I'm happy to tell you any more that you want to know.